Alright, there we go. It needs all sorts of stuff. It's one of those projects that's never done. Never ever will be, but that's the fun of it, I guess. Welcome back. It's been a minute since I've done some filming out in the shop. I think the last time I had an actual update on where we were at on the Jeep was when I put the driveline underneath it and got the four-wheel drive working. So we've taken it out on a few adventures since then, and I've done some more work on it, but I haven't really filmed any of it. Get something done. But anyways, I'll cut right now to some of the stuff we've done on the Jeep, maybe do a little update right here in the shop, but there's a few things like the windows, and I did some stuff under the hood, some front brake lines. Got all the windows in. Got all the window mechanisms working. We also got a heater in. I just got it hooked up right now to just be doing defrost. So it gets nice and warm in here. And today, I welded up the rear differential.
By God, Betsy, we got ourselves a Lincoln locker.
You get in love, his friend that died in the shop. You got goopy eyes. Should we show these people what we're doing in here? Huh? We got ourselves what I like to call the 0-100. It is the $0 100% traction solution.
Well, Dave, it's still more than half.
AKA Lincoln Locker. Deal with that right there. Lincoln welder. She's hot. Lift the other side of it open. So hopefully, if I do break an axle, I can get to the snap ring, but I don't really plan on keeping this rear end in this thing for too long. I definitely want some traction though, so that's what you do when you got $0 and want 100% traction. Alright, I got this here little magnet. We're just going to run that around inside of there. See if we can pick up any of that nasty slag and spatter that came off the welder while we were welding that thing up. Giving the old 100% $0 traction treatment. Then I'll wipe it out real good and clean it up with a little alcohol before we put it back together. Finished knocking out those pins that were left over from the gov lock. Now you're probably asking yourself, why are you welding up a gov lock? Well, the gov lock wasn't working, it was all stripped out and broken. So we had to do a little modificating.
We're doing good things. We're doing good.
Right.
Goodification. Glad. Anything you can put if-fire-icade onto works. I did get the lights put in the front of it. These fog lights, turn signals. They look pretty good. They work pretty good. Running lights, fog lights, low beams, high beams. I don't know if you guys have watched on Instagram or any of my other social media platforms, but we did get the old pull string honker horn working. Works pretty good.
The Buick stops here, Dave.
We redid the front brake lines. Got rid of the ABS unit. Let me pop this open here. I got the actual hood latch working in there, so it latches like it's supposed to. Put a new gasket on it. I actually got the bar back in there to hold the hood prop. Got that working somewhat good. What else did I do? We welded the brace in here. Moved the fuse box up where the up out of the way, so it's not hanging down there getting soaking wet underneath, but it's also hard mounted, and I put it up there where the ABS unit used to sit. So we got that working pretty good. We just replaced that. I did put a video up about that breaking down. So I still haven't figured out how we're going to do windshield wipers yet. I got some ideas, but haven't had the money to buy parts, so that's on the back burner. We got some tunes in there.
Just a ticket to expect to get a soul. I'll take a look at me. I'm just a clown.
I've had that thing sitting around forever. I actually bought that for the Sierra, and it didn't fit, and I didn't want to bother sending it back, so I just had it on the shelf in the garage, and it worked good for this. Actually has a backup camera and everything. Works pretty good. So we got that working. Haven't really figured out what we're going to do for a dash yet. At this point, I'm regretting cutting the factory dash out of it.
I told you so, I told you so, I told you so.
I need to get door panels built for it. I just got 2 speakers under the seat for now. They just kind of make shift work. I would eventually like to put a little bit better sound system in this, but at least we got tunes for now. What else? Did get the camera put on the back. Yeah, I don't know. There's a few things I haven't showed you guys yet because I just didn't feel like filming, but give you kind of an update where we're at on the Jeep. Maybe if I start tinkering with that, maybe if I start tinkering with the underside of it today, I'll show some of that, but we'll see. Alright, let's roll under here and see what we can look. You can see some of the chain damage right there. I don't know if that's showing up real good on camera, but we had to wrap a chain around that and bend it back down from hitting on the rocks at 5 Mile when we took it out there, so it took a little bit of a beating. But what I'm thinking is high up in there as that transmission sits, it's up above the bottom line of the frame here. So what I'm thinking I might try and do, the way this bolts onto the bottom, is actually build a plate out of 1/4 inch thick steel that's, 12 to 16 inches or something, maybe a little different in shape. It actually slides up in there and helps protect the transfer case and transmission, as well as acts as a bit of a cross member. That way it'll actually set the back of the transfer case down just a tad bit lower to straighten that rear driveline angle and give me a little more protection and a little bit more ground clearance. This thing is pretty flat on the bottom with the exception of this cross member, and that thing was finding every rock in the trail when we took it down wheeling for the first time, so I'd like to eliminate this portion hanging down and maybe get a little bit better protection for the bottom of this at the same time. So I do have some plate steel, but I need to take some measurements here and see if I got a big enough piece to build what I'm thinking of building. Should be a pretty good improvement to the bottom of this thing. Eventually, I know I've had a few people saying, well, why don't you just do a solid axle? Well, that's what was the plan from the get-go, but A, they cost money, and B, when we found this chassis, it had everything intact, so we figured, you know what, let's run this IFS front end until we grenade it. So I'm going to do a few small modifications to try and bulletproof that as best I can. so we can run that IFS front end for a while, save some money, because unfortunately I'm not made of it. And to be honest with you, I spend a lot of money making these videos, so best thing you can do is subscribe, like, comment down below. You got ideas or things you think you might do to this Jeep, or things you like or things you dislike. Be honest with you, send me some hate love. Those hate comments seem to generate a lot more comments, and that helps in the algorithm. So go down, leave me some heat on this video. Tell me what you like, dislike about the channel, the truck, the adventures, whatever. I would like to get this channel to the point where it helped at least offset the cost of doing all this stuff. I mean, it's stuff I'm gonna be doing anyways, but it'd be cool if that channel made me a couple extra $100 a month to help offset the cost of even fuel to go out and make videos. Enough of me rambling. Let's do some measuring and figuring on this. Alright, so I got this thing sitting out here. It's part of an old fab table I bought, or kind of was gifted. I bought some steel from a buddy, but he gave me a whole bunch of other stuff with it. And this thing looks like it'll be pretty good. It's 1/4 inch thick. It's 44 inches from here to here, so it'll work for the bottom plate, and then I can just weld some for the side pieces up the side. The problem is moving it. I'm by myself. I don't have the tractor here. It's at my dad's house. So I need to drag that out of this dry grass, or I'm gonna start a fire. But I could probably torch me a good chunk out of that. Give us a good start anyways. Now I just gotta figure out how to move it.
2 days later.
So that leaves the problem of lifting it. That thing probably weighs 200, 300, maybe 400 pounds. It's pretty heavy. And I don't have any way of lifting or moving anything around the yard here. My dad's got a tractor, but he lives 10 minutes away, and getting that tractor over here every time I need to lift something is kind of a pain in the butt. So I had an idea. Well, it's not my idea. I've seen multiple guys do it online, but basically find a way of hooking that into that. So we'll see if we can weld a piece of 2x2 inside this thing, so I can hook it on the receiver hitch on the back of my truck, or the wheelies once I get a receiver hitch on the back of that. And that way we can lift and move stuff around the backyard that's not too heavy, but too heavy to lift by yourself. So like that is a prime example. I can't lift that by myself. Hell, even with me and my dad or one of my buddies over here, it'd take quite a bit for both of us to move that around. But I think if we had ourselves a little bit of a crane or cherry picker hooked up on the back of a truck, I could back right up to that thing, chain to it, lift it, move it, do what I need to do. So I'll videotape a little bit of me working on this thing and see what we can come up with. I kind of started on it and then remembered I wanted to film it, so we already got our piece of 2x2 cut. And I'm gonna, if I got it marked, I'm gonna cut that out right there, and we'll run that through and then weld it to that other side. So it's, we'll slide that through right there once I cut it, and then weld it to that side so it's good and strong, and then we'll just drill a hole right through here. Easy peasy. Alright, I'll get that drilled out. We got the hole punched through there and the bottom of it all cleaned up. So we're ready to weld. But before we do that, I want to punch this hole through here. So see if we can put you down here and get a shot of it. Got the hole drilled in the end of it. Get this thing all prepped up, ready for welding. Slide that through. Make sure it's good and centered up, and then we'll start welding. Alright, we got it all welded up. It's ready to go on the truck. We'll try it out here in just a minute. But I was blowing that hole out. I had the torch blow back in my hair. I think I singed a few. How bad is it? I'll go over here in the mirror and look. Oh yeah, got it good. I'll have to comb it out and see. I might be shaving the old dome. But let's get this thing on the truck and see how it works. All right, there we go. We got ourselves hitch mounted cherry picker. Move stuff around the yard with. Now, I don't know if I'd tow with it, and I definitely wouldn't use it for picking up much more than maybe 1,000 pounds, 1,500 pounds. I don't know how. Imagine that'd be pretty stout, but it's not really meant for picking up too much, just stuff that's too big for me to pick up by hand or with a couple people. It'd make life a lot easier just to use it that way. So, well, let's back it up over there next to the piece of steel I need to pick up and see how it does.
Anything you can put if-fire-icade onto works. You know, it's
that's right. Yeah.
This will be the test. Strong enough. Lift a couple 100 pounds of steel. And it does appear so. So there you go, folks. And there you have it. It's holding that big heavy piece of steel up off the ground. Should be able to do what I need to do with that. Yeah, I do have some plans coming up. We got a trip planned down to southern Utah in March. I'm not going to say what that is just yet, but
we're working on those plans and the planification. I think we have a plan in the planning stage of that plan.
But until then, I don't know that there's going to be too much for me to be putting up. Maybe a few shop projects here and there. I'm just trying to get caught up on some bills. Making the YouTube's not exactly the most pocketbook friendly thing. Been spending a lot of money this year. I don't really got to be spending to go out and have fun and make videos. So I got to take a little bit of a break for a while, but we do got some stuff planned coming up. So if you want to stay tuned to what we got going on, remember to subscribe to the channel and help me out by leaving some comments. If you like what's going on, or even if you got a gripe, let me know about it down there below. Helps out the channel, helps out the algorithm, helps more people see these videos. But until then, we'll see you on the next one.